Let's discuss about implementation of strategies, executing those strategies in hotels, in day-to-day operations. So let's take pre-opening stage of any restaurant or hotel. What happens? Suppose you are launching restaurant or hotel, you have one concept in mind, but what happened is like you are not able to deliver those concepts just because you are not having depth knowledge about implementing those particular strategies, executing those particular strategies. A number of studies shows around 60 to 80% strategies are not being executed just because of gaps between implementation and knowledge. Basically what happens, like suppose you are implementing certain strategies and you don't have proper plan in place, how, in which phase you are going to implement what exactly. So let's explore how, like why strategies execution are important. What happens is like now hospitality industry is changing because of AI implementation and other multiple challenges, competition and other stuff. So you every individual who starts restaurant or hotel, they want their product to be different from the market. They plan everything, they hire consultants, they do all stuff, but what happen when it comes to execution part, they somehow don't give their 100% in implementing those particular strategies and executing those particular strategies, irrespective of giving trainings and other stuff. It's not day affair or week affair or months affair. You have to have system in place, you have to have plans in place to make sure you are implementing those particular strategies effectively, or rather executing those particular strategies. For that, like you have to implement those particular strategies, you have to have managers who actually can take responsibility to execute implement those particular strategies. You have to have team in place who are going to represent your brand identity in the market. Okay. So what happens, most of the time, because of industry dynamics, you bound to um, basically compromise on recruiting certain key people. You take references without analyzing or proper interviewing. You hire them based on their, he's working for X brand, and you basically conclude he must be good in terms of knowledge and execution part. But what happens is like uh, there is possibility after working with small or big brand, the person who is joining you, he has got limited knowledge base in terms of leadership. So what you need to do is like post analyzing those particular things, you have to plan out training base to train him what exactly you are looking from that particular profile, how you are going to implement those particular SOPs which you have developed, brand SOPs basically, which you have developed over a period of time, and how you are going to position your particular unit in the market. So what happens if you have all these particular strategies in place, along with written documents, phase wise, how, at what situation your team is going to react in which way. So there are chances are like you bound to fail in lesser failure chances are lesser than the other scenarios. Okay. You suppose you are planning anything. Let's how you are going to plan strategic planning, how you are going to implement. What you need to do is like suppose you have your, let's take example of restaurant. you have planned your restaurant opening on uh, after months time or so you have 30 days in hand to implement your multiple strategies like pre opening activities, marketing activities, menu designing, menu implementation, presentation parts. So you need to segregate everything. So let's talk about marketing. So how you are market your product before launching your restaurant. So you, what all strategies you have, how you are going to implement those particular strategies, and uh, you, what all mediums you are going to use. You are going to use social platforms, are you going to use print media, other stuff. So based on that you can plan out things. Let's take strategically. Suppose uh, post 30 days you are planning to launch a restaurant. So you must create buzz in the market. What exactly you are launching, what kind of food you are going to serve, what is your USP. Okay, so you have to plan in phase wise. Like initially you need to plan out, you need to create buzz. Okay, you are coming up at such particular location with uniqueness. Don't reveal like what exactly you're coming up. And then strategically you can start involving youths, consumers, through creating online question answer sessions or polls with written gifts or something. So what happens is you are interacting with people who are going to be your future consumer. So this is part of like planning of marketing of your hotel. In terms of menu designing, you have to understand surrounding people, what they prefer, what are the eating habits of locals, are they comfortable in uh, taking suppose you are implementing certain different menu patterns. Are you able to sell those particular uh, cooking patterns or particular cuisine? So you need to understand the requirement of your surroundings, okay, who are going to be your consumer. Based on that you need to plan out the menus. You cannot think like, suppose one particular concept is running good in certain place, so that cannot be copied in a different place. Each city has got their own charm, eating habits and other stuff. So you need to understand, you need to analyze those particular factors, and based on that you need to prepare menu, balanced menu, which consists local favorites. You are planning to implement certain food, you're planning to launch certain fusion, you would like to do fusion with certain preparations. So those things you can plan out. So it has to be balanced, like local cuisine favorites, new trending foods in the world, fusion which you are going to do. Those are kind of testing menus. You can launch you can start pre-launch testing menus. You can deliver those particular menus at their house. Those can be a testing menu. Those things can be free of cost, or you can charge a certain amount, or you can give some offers to make sure like your menu is being implemented well. People, they understand what exactly you're serving. Okay, next comes to a recruitment part. See, you have menu in place, you have marketing in place. To serve those particular menu, to represent your brand identity, you have to have good team basically, and you need to give training to those particular individuals. So you have 30 days in hand. Generally we take around 60 days time to train teammates. Then we have to run through menus, food trials and other stuff. But if in case you have lesser time in hand, so you need to rush on number of things. So whatever menu you are going to serve has to have some stories. Like suppose there has to be a certain preparation which has got stories. You need to develop those stories. Those can be a chef's favorite, the promoter's favorite, a promoter's designs something, your menu curator, he has designed some other thing basically. So you can plan out accordingly. Next comes to production part, like kitchen, who are going to prepare those particular food. You need to understand they are maintaining color combination based on your standard which you are going to portrait basically. So let's talk about developing mission, vision, core values. You need to develop mission statement of your restaurant. You need to develop your vision statement along with core values. Okay. So what happens? Your first step is clear. Like what all, how you are going to place your brand. Okay. What culture you are going to implement in your system, what all engagements are required with employees and your consumers. So those things you need to plan out in advance. What happens is you start most of the standalone owners, they start restaurant without analyzing, without having a proper mission, core value statements and vision basically. So what happens in certain time, you start losing your core teammates and core your consumers, because your value statement, values, business values are not properly documented. Okay. Second thing is like building effective leadership team. See, in any restaurant there are key people who are going to run or represent your restaurant. So you have to make sure your key teammates are good, they are able to communicate brand identity, they are able to communicate your deliveries, food deliveries, what exactly you have planned, and accordingly they must be capable enough to deliver your ethos, your value statement. You can create implementation plan. There are multiple phases, okay, to implement plans. First, like create one plan. When you are planning to develop restaurant, you need to plan out in different phases. Okay, first you need to decide, if I finalize what kind of menu you are going to serve, what kind of client base you are going to have. Okay, based on that you can plan out your restaurant interiors, settings and other stuff. Okay, so you have to have plan in place phase wise. Like first phase, you decide, you have plan in place. Okay, I am going to have 60 cover restaurant. I'm going to serve this particular cuisine, Indian, Chinese, continental, fusion, along with coffees or mocktails or cocktails, based on your city requirement. Okay, then you sit with your interior decorator, architect, who will give you options of restaurant interiors. Then you implement interiors, and then you at third phase you start recruiting your teammates to make sure whatever vision you have, those vision are being implemented through your core team. Okay, and then marketing starts. Like okay, you have to develop marketing based on the pre-launch, post-launch. You have to interact, engage your consumers. So if you interact with consumers directly, there are possibilities of converting them easily, rather like approaching. If you think like they'll come, they'll experience your services and food, and then they'll decide. There are multiple ways available nowadays, so you can plan out a pre-launch schedule. how you are going to interact with your consumer, what all strategies you are going to implement to make sure those consumers are your future valuable client base. Okay. See, what happens is like most of the restaurant owners, most of the when you are starting new venture, like you keep certain budget in mind, but you don't allocate that particular budget phase wise. You don't have proper plan in place, so what happens is like you bound to fail. You bound to spend more on that particular projects. You need to allocate fund based on the your assumption of that particular project cost. Suppose you are going to spend certain amount in like 20% amount on the architectural part, you are going to spend 10 or 15% on amount on acquiring that particular property, then you have to plan out accordingly what all marketing, how much you are going to spend in marketing, how much you are going to spend in interior part, how much you are going to spend in procurement of material, how what all initiatives are going to take, how much you're going to spend in acquiring consumer base. Okay, so everything is in place, so you actually don't get shocks after launching restaurant in terms of budgetary shortfalls. You need to assign objectives and responsibilities to each and every teammates. They need to understand what exactly they have to do, how they are going to implement those particular things. So what happens is like each individual of your teammates is accountable for result. So you need to make sure you are updating them what exactly you are expecting from those particular teammates. You need to align structure for end-to-end processes. Okay, along with aligning people. So you have to maintain communication basically, and to maintain communication, making successful venture, you have to have certain process in end-to-end process. You have to implement align end-to-end process basically. What happens is like if you don't have end-to-end process, so you are risking your customer satisfaction, because you don't know how things are going to be implemented, what all functions functional structures are there. Okay, how you are going to build or develop systems based on the challenges which you are going to face. Basically communications, why if you don't have end-to-end process, bound to have communication gaps basically, and those factors are going to cause your customer base. Okay, so you have to make sure you have end-to-end process. You need to align your teammates based on those particular process. You need to communicate whatever strategies you have effectively with your teammates, with your consumers. Okay, you need to review reports and progress frequently to make sure whatever gaps are there, those gaps can be filled. What happens is if you think like in months, every month you'll review things, initially I don't suggest. Basically initially you have to spend time and review based on the day-to-day operations. You can implement plans like how you're going to develop report system and progress system. Okay, based on whatever challenges, or after analyzing report, if you find any gaps, you need to adjust your strategies best wherever required. If required, you can adjust or modify those particular strategy SOPs and retrain your teammates basically. Okay, you need to develop organization culture that supports strategy. See, what happens is like you have everything in place, but you don't know you don't have culture to implement those particular SOPs. So you have to make sure, like, see, your teammates are assets for generating revenue. So you have to make sure you have good, healthy organization culture. So what happens? You, if you have good working culture, so you can implement anything effectively without any hurdles. So if you have gaps, what happens is, like, suppose if you want to implement something, so you bound to face challenges because of gaps in teams or gaps between two departments. Okay, so you have to make sure, like, you have good culture, um, so positive culture, which leads to success, because positivity only can give you good results. If you have negative mindsets in your team, there are two ways: either you can train them, you can brief them how they are going to react, how they have, where they are lacking. So you can train them wherever possible, and I believe, like, we can train any individual. It is matter of certain days. So that's why we take pre-opening or soft opening stage, wherein we make sure, like, each teammate is well trained. Then whatever they are serving, they know what exactly they are serving, what are the SOPs, what are the stories behind serving particular preparation, wherever you have modified based on your SOPs. Okay, so these are the basic which we have covered. Okay, in next video we can have depth discussion on this particular subject. Thank you so very much.